Greetings, and today I'm going to. Greetings, and today I have a different kind of video for you guys. So I created a video like this a while ago, and I've been working actually on more custom cards since then. So I actually do have another set of custom cards to show for you guys. So if you guys don't know what this is about, I try to sort of read up lore on the Witcher universe and just create custom cards based on them. And I try to make it story friendly, but you know, sometimes I also consider what faction they're gonna go into and like what their abilities are going to be, and how it probably would help in the meta, or maybe just a bit of a more like thematic card. So I have 4 cards here that are related to the Witcher world, but the next set of cards I do won't be from the Witcher universe. So I'll be starting to implement cards also that are from, you know, different fantasies. So yeah, it's a bit of a spoiler alert coming into the next part as well. I'm still gonna do deck guide videos. It's just that I don't know if you guys notice right now, but any one of you who's sort of in like the top ranks, you guys notice that the decks that are being played are going to start being redundant. Like you're gonna see card decks that you've already played. Like you're probably gonna end up playing like multiple decks more than once, if you're trying to climb up into the pro rankings. I'm not really trying to do that at the moment. At some point I definitely will. Right now I'm just sort of focusing on building my rank and just creating content for you guys. So I'm gonna have the picture show up here where my hand is while I sort of present. And the first card we have here is Gweld. So according to the Witcher lore, Gweld is actually Geralt's childhood friend, who I believe he died. He died in an accident while he was training to be a Witcher with Geralt. Because of that sort of small little story, I gave him the ability of being able to create and play a Geralt card. It is a 13 cost neutral card with 2 power, and that is actually pretty powerful. Being able to create a Geralt card is actually really powerful because not because of its standalone ability, but because of how it can combo. Like if you combo this card with, like, let's say Emir, and you'd be able to create 2 Geralt cards. You can possibly do 2 Geralt axes where you can reset two big boosted units your opponent has. You can possibly create 1 Igni, 1 Irdrin. You know, you kind of get the idea there where that's going, which is why Gweld is actually a pretty expensive card here at 13 cost, just to simply avoid doing those combinations. Well, I shouldn't say Emir. So when you're doing strategic withdrawal, not Emir. There we go. Yeah, that's why I have him such at a high provision cost and such a weak power. But another potential here is that he could be combined with the I forgot the name of that Nilfgaard card that lets you boost its card's power by its to its provision cost. So that could be one major combo you could do there. So adding this card to a Nilfgaard deck with strategic withdrawal and I gotta look up her name later. Would actually make this combo very powerful. This could be the answer to Nilfgaard's sort of like short round end, so you can have Gweld, strategic withdrawal, and that card to boost this card up to 13. That's actually a super powerful combination for Nilfgaard alone. So that would actually I would see that breaking the Nilfgaard faction right there, even more than Savola does for the Syndicate faction. But simply because of the storyline, I thought that would be a pretty good ability for Gweld. Interesting name, by the way. Oh, I guess I can't do that there. So next card we have here, we're going to the Monsters faction. We have the Lucrote. I don't know how to pronounce this. So this is a beast card, and according to the lore, this card is known for trapping humans by mimicking the voices of men, because it can mimic, apparently it can mimic the voice of men that it probably hears, and it lures them into traps and it devours them. So this is like, this would be the predator, like I would say the best predator to like to the human race. So it is a 9 cost with 2 power. And its ability is you can consume a unit, so it is a consume. This will support the consume, thrive, big monsters meta for the monsters. But if the unit consumed is human, so if the unit you consume with this card is human, then it gets a boost equal to the base power of the consumed card. So that's essentially a double boost. So it's like, but I think in a way it will kind of encourage the use of like the Witchers, Dandelion, you know, any of the main characters that are neutral into, or even like for example the King of Beggars. So any human that is neutral would be encouraged to sort of get played as part of a monsters deck, like to sort of add more flexibility. Like I say, if you wanted to add a card, let's say like Dandelion Poet for that deck thinning consistency. At least a Dandelion Poet will have a combo card with Lucroak, because Lucroak will just make itself even stronger if it eats Dandelion Poet, because it will technically gain 8. Unless Dandelion Poet gets boosted, then it's Dandelion's power plus the base power for Lucroak's special ability. Maybe it might be a bit better if this card was a bit more expensive, like if maybe going up to 11. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on that, by the way. But I thought it's just pretty interesting at this that the fact that this creature actually does that, where it traps humans and it devours them. So I thought I'd give it that ability, just to again keep with the theme, which is nice. So yeah. Next here we have a rather interesting card. We have Redprey II, and according to the lore, this card once tried to set up the School of the Cat and the School of the Wolf and had them go against each other in sort of a gladiator arena style battle, with the last man standing, where this guy would probably, I don't know, reward them with like becoming a slave, or maybe ending up killing them in possibility. I think his goal there was to sort of eliminate the two schools outright, like to have them get rid of each other, because he might have found them as a threat for whatever reason. He probably would have had some evil scheme, and the Witchers would be preventing from doing that because they're really good trackers. If anything, they're like bounty hunters from monsters. So because of that, he is from the Northern Realms, so I am giving him the Northern Realms faction, and his ability is lock 2 units. If any of them are Witchers, deal 3 damage. So this card is an anti-archetype card. This just purely counters Witchers. If that's not the case, then it's used for its 2 locks. That's why the provision's only at 10 as opposed to like 11, because being able to lock is actually super valuable. So if you're not playing any cards or any decks with Witchers, which is not likely because you don't often see Witchers nowadays unless they're played with Nilfgaard. If they're playing Disrupt Nilfgaard with the Usurper, then you'd see Letho, Seret, and Ox. But other than that, you'd still lock them, but you also get the 3 damage. And lock the 2 units. He might be better as a Nilfgaard card simply because of his ability to double lock, which actually, now that Nilfgaard now has the engines for boosting it, I forgot the name of the card once again. I'm not too familiar with card names, so some of them are pretty confusing. Because I think half of them are like, names that would make sense, like I say, from Poland and stuff. So if that's not the case, you don't get that extra 6 power swing from it. You do get the lock 2 units, which is still not so bad. Being able to lock 2 pretty strong engines. I don't think you can lock defenders, because defenders still get their status. They gotta be purified. So yeah, there's Redprey II. And the last card I get to showcase for you guys for today is Ryann. This is a Nilfgaard card. Deploy damage unit by 4, and on death blow, banish the top card of your opponent's deck. So this is essentially a stronger version of the Viper Witcher. So according to the lore, this guy is Vilgefortz's apprentice. So he was sent to capture Ciri and probably return her to Nilfgaard. So he would be around the pre-Witcher 3 storyline. So when he was a child, so this is how he became Vilgefortz's apprentice. When he was a child, he was imprisoned for doing some crimes, such as like petty theft, maybe, or maybe stealing, stuff like that. But I think they were minor crimes, and there was a ransom set up for him, and it just so happens that Vilgefortz paid for the ransom, which is the reason why that probably the reason why Vilgefortz paid the ransom in the first place, because he saw potential in this guy. Because magic sensors can always they can always tell other magic sensors. Like, they'll know if other people can do magic, whether they probably see it or not. It's like a sense thing. It's like a telepathy almost. Maybe that's what it is. So at some point, after he freed Ryann, he became his apprentice. And this guy was really known for some of his brutal tactics. It's not the most peaceful guy. I mean, just look at that art. First of all, the art is insane. Second, we probably would see this guy. I don't know if he's already featured as a card under a different name. If he is, let me know. I probably wouldn't have noticed because I don't recognize him. But giving him the ability to damaging a unit by 4, and if it gets killed, then you banish the top card of your opponent's deck. Trying to keep with that Nilfgaard classification of being able to disrupt other players' decks. And I noticed that deck manipulation is a sort of a big thing with most of the Nilfgaard cards, but they don't. There's really not enough decks that play them. Like there's only one where you play Dodric combined with the Couriers and War Council. You know, all those cards that let you manipulate your deck. But not enough really to manipulate your other opponent's deck. Really, the only card that does that is, I guess it's also Isbel. Isbel, I don't know if that's Isbel, the one where you can draw from your opponent or your own deck. But like in terms of like disrupting, in terms of banishing it, not enough cards do that. So we got Ryanns and we got 2 Viper Witcher. So you can, instead of being able to banish twice, you banish 3 times. But again, if you don't luck out on like a really strong gold card with those banishes and you get rid of like a bronze card, then that sort of deck thins your opponent in a way where it could possibly help them. So it could also be a double-edged sword, where you could, on one hand you could be getting rid of a strong engine, but on the other hand you're also giving your opponent more chances to draw stronger cards. That's just always my thoughts been on the banishing. But you know, it's also damage output, which is again highly valuable now in today's meta, because there's just a lot of engines. Like Syndicate runs a lot of pretty strong engines. Northern Realms runs a lot of strong engines. Essentially, every faction has strong engines, and they should. It makes sense. It's otherwise, like, I mean, unless you can find a way to sort of make the other mechanics stronger to the point where they can match with the engines. But other than that, I don't see it happening, which is why damage output cards are pretty valuable in being able to remove those cards that are going to linger forever onto the field. So those are the 4 cards I got to showcase for you guys today. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on these cards. Leave a like, of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more content. And of course, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I'm still trying to figure out a schedule. I've been waiting for an email for a while now, so I can't really set a schedule until I sort of know where I'm going. So that'll be a little bit for something later on. So, but anyway, other than that, this is Enzo signing out. Catch you guys in the next one.